point 2. Okay, so this one which is more for the updating and also deleting the row. And then I also already create one file, this one which is actually summary. So we just only have 6 different pages of what we are going to do relating to the part 2 of the DML. So you can see that from here, for example, for the database programming subsection 12.2, we have 33 slide, and then for part 1, which is we had 36 slide, but then not all which is can be done in our limited version of the tools. So that's why there are most of the part I'm going to skip for this one. And then everything actually I already summarized in your SQL lah. So for this one, we are going to copy and paste. After this, we are going to try hands on one by one. Okay, hold on. Someone just trying to come to join. Okay, now let's move to insert statement first. Previously, we already create in our DDL or in our SQL part 1, we already create our database, we already create our own table. So hopefully that by today, all your database and also your table have been created. So from here, you can see that we have our database that we already create before this. So for your class, which is 192B ship. So I'm going to refer, but then for this one, which is I open relating to the section C, but then actually the content is similar. Okay, and then we also already we already put the output and so on. And then previously also we already create our table, where for the table you have to create the table without the foreign key first before you can move to the table with the foreign key. Okay, because if not, if you create the table with the foreign key before you create the table without foreign key, then you are going to get a warning lah. So that's why for this one you have to make sure that create table without foreign key first. And then the next one, we already done about the changing table definition relating to the 2 different process. The first one, we are going to add column. And then the second one, we are going to remove the column. And last one, if we didn't want to use that particular table, then we have to remove the table or delete the table. So this one is related to our DDL under part 1. Now, okay, before I proceed now, which is 2:10, okay, I give you 20 minutes, okay. By 2:30, I'm going to start with our database programming part 2 lah for this one. But before I start this one, if any of you got problem relating to your development before this under DDL, okay, you have problems such as in terms of creating your table, okay, and then also about creating your database. So I allow you just only for 20 minutes to show to me your screen, and then we are going to solve together. Because if you didn't solve this one, then if you are going to follow with the next stage, I'm afraid that you already lost. So now for those who want to present, then you just take over my presentation. I give you 20 minutes. Okay, so make sure that you provide a very brief statements, problem statement, and then we are going to solve together. So please present your screen. Come on. If any of you got problem relating to the development of our database and also creating our table, because you have to remember all these 3 files, I will ask you to submit. Okay, after I complete everything relating to the SQL statement, then I will ask you to submit in your My Guru, and then that one maybe will become the additional marks for you. And maybe also because starting from this semester, we are going to change the format. No longer final exam, but we are going to change to the final assessment. Who knows, I'm going to use a few percentage from what that you already done relating to this SQL statement lah. So that's why it is better for you to show me and also your friend what you have done or any part that you have problem. Come on. take over my presentation. So we have 45 students in this class. None of you got problem during the development. Please, I already allocate time, so make sure that you ask me, because after this, you still have problem relating to the development. I'm not going to entertain you. So that's why make sure that you settle before within this period lah. Show to me your screen, so you can open your Zen and then you can show your screen. We are going to solve together. Come on. Again, I ask you, any of you got problem with the development of the database and table? Am I alone in this class? Come on, don't need to shy. So you just show whatever that you have done. If you got problem, then you can show and then we are going to solve together. I'm not going to penalize you. We just try to help.
Good
Okay, yes,
afternoon, doctor.
Okay, good afternoon.
It's not that I went through some problem, but I just want to ask why the screen is like that. Let me show you first.
Mm.
Can you see the screen, doctor?
Not yet. Okay. Okay. So what's
Okay.
the problem?
I want to ask after I press the go,
Mm-hmm.
in the hotel screen, the SQL still have the coding. Is it fine or
Never mind. This one is okay. If this one which is still appear, then it's okay. As long as you try to go to the table, you alter table right now reservation, isn't it? Okay. Try to go to the structure of the reservation table.
yeah, it's gone?
So
The
it's
service,
gone. So it's
yeah.
okay lah. As long as the output which is already based on what you want, then it's okay.
All right, doctor. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. So what about others? Anyone got other problem or anyone that want to share? So come on, share with me and also your friend. I'm going to count until 5. So after that, I'm going to proceed with the next one. So if you still have problem, I'm not going to entertain you because so many times I asked you to show, but then you didn't want to show. So it's okay lah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no one want to show. So it's okay. We are going to start with our okay, we are going to start with our lecture for today's class. Okay, please make sure that you also open your Oracle notes first. And then after that only, I'm going to explain relating to the SQL statement for your tab. Okay, for your relating to the hands-on process. Okay, so now let's move to our insert statement. Okay, so for this one, as what I already told you beginning of the class, which is when we start our class just now, before Diana shows her what I call that, her screen. Okay, so I already told you that we already have our structure, we already create our database, we already create our table. So now we are going to move to the next one, actually relating to the insert the data. So we are going to insert the data. Okay, because previously we just have something like a room, okay, but then we didn't put all those furnitures and so on. So that's why now we are going to put the furniture, or we are going to put all the data for our database. So that's why we have to use the insert statement. But for this one, as I already told you before, there are certain advanced function cannot be done in our limited or free version of the tools. So if you want to do certain part in this one, then you have to make sure that you get the license software lah. Okay. And then from here, you can see that this one, which is relating to the alter the data in the database. So actually, for this one, which is more to the inserting the data. Okay, but if we move to the next one, which is under database programming section 2, that one we still can change whatever data that we already insert before. So for example, based on Diana previously, she shows to us that her table, she already performed the alteration. So she changed the table structure. But then right now we are going to know about how we are going to change our data. Okay, but that one which is under subsection 12.2 lah. This one, let's move to the insertion first. Okay, under insertion, so you can see that we are going to insert data, okay, or we are going to use the insert statement that can insert a single row using the value clause. So for this one, we have the statement. Under insertion, we are going to use insert into and also value. Okay, this one related to the single row. And then the next one, we are going to insert the data. Okay, sorry for this one, we cannot perform the special values and also date values. We just only can perform null value. So for this one, for example, maybe there are certain cell in your database or in your table. At beginning, you didn't have that particular data. Okay, so that's why you are going to insert another part of that particular row, but then one cell in that particular row you want to leave it blank. So that one which is we are going to use the null value. Okay, but if you want to change after this, for example, you already insert, you want to change, then we are going to based on the updating the data after this. Okay, and then the next one about copy the rows and also using subquery. So this one we are not going to cover in our limited version of the tools. But for this one, actually, under Apex Oracle, because as I already told you before, Apex Oracle, they will not allow you to create database and also to create your own table. So that's why you have to copy the table that already exists in the Apex Oracle, and then after that you can manipulate. But if you already close your tool, so everything will be gone. They are not going to allow you to save the data. Okay. So that one which is about the Apex Oracle lah. But for our exam, we can do everything except for the special character, advanced and so on. That one which is cannot because it is a free version of the tools. Okay, and then okay, this one, how to access the data. This part actually we are going to cover in the part 3. So next week we are going to cover about the accessing data. It means that we are going to retrieve the data and then learn to make the changes. That one which is under database programming section 2. And you already know that database are dynamic. So it means that the data can be increased and also can be decreased. For example, previously, you already know that our table, we can add table, we can delete the table, and then in one table also, we can add the row and we can delete the row. Okay, so same with your data in the database also. So anytime you can insert your data and you also can remove or delete your data from the database if you think that the data which is no longer important for your organization or also for your needs. So for this one, it is actually depends on your requirement lah. Okay, and then from here you can see that actually we are going to base on the process relating to the insertion, updating and also deletion process. So insertion subtopic 12.2, sorry, subtopic 12.1, and updating and also deletion which is under subtopic 12.2. Okay, and then this one you already know lah, for sure it is based on for sure everything will be changed, not just only based on the school database. But then since for your assignment number 1 relating to the education environment, so you can refer this one lah. But for your assignment number 2, I hope that you still remember. I told you that you can use any type of the database system except for anything related to the education environment. So it is up to you. For example, you are going to base on the grocery store, you're going to base on the nursery, you are going to base on clinic or whatsoever. That one, everything can be done for your assignment number 2. Okay. Then, okay, so we are going to begin based on the manipulation language. So that's why we are going to start with the part 2 under data manipulation language statement in order to make sure that we can make the changes to our database. Okay, so for copy the table, this one which is we are not going to cover because this one is more to the Apex Oracle. Okay, we are going to create our own table for this one. Okay, but if you want to copy the table, then you can create, you can choose create table, copy table. Okay, and then as you can change any name. Actually, this part still under DDL before this. Okay, as I already told you before, because Apex Oracle not allow you to create the table, they just allow you to copy the table, and then you still can rename. Okay, all this part. This select statement we are going to cover at the section 3. Okay, part 3 under our DML. Okay, this one also under create table. Okay, but under under DML, actually we are going to start with the insertion. So starting from this one, you have to make sure that you remember under DML, we are going to start with the insertion process. It means that we are going to insert the data into our database. So that's why we are going to use the insert statement for adding the new row into the table. So this statement required 3 value. Okay, the first one is name of the table, second names of the column, and the next one which is relating to the value. So these 3 things should be included in your insert statement. After this, name of the table, name of the column, and also value of the column or data of that particular column. Okay, so now for example, okay, this is our table. Previously during the DDL, we already create our table, which is department table. In the department table, we have 4 row, we have 4 columns, or we have 4 fields, starting from the department ID, department name, manager ID, and also location ID. So this one, you have to use the word create table under DDL. Okay. But the bottom part, this one is actually your data. It means that you are going to insert your data such as department ID 200, department name, human resources, and also manager ID 205, location ID 1500. Okay, this one, once you want to put the data, it means that we are going to move to the insertion process. We are going to use the insert statement for this one. Okay. And this is the syntax. If you want to create the insert statement, we have to start with the word insert into, okay? And the next one follow with the table name. Next one follow with the follow with the column of field name, because previously we have 4 columns, so you have to list down all the 4 columns. And the next one follow with the value, what value that you are going to insert. Okay. So here you can see that, for example, based on this part, if you notice that 200, 205 and 1500, this one, okay, your notes didn't put in the single quotation, but human resource you put in the single quotation. Okay, you have to remember under value, if you want to insert your data in the row as a record, okay, if you set the data type for that particular column as a number or integer, it is okay for you if you didn't put a single quotation. So that's why for me, if I see from this particular row, I can make a conclusion that 200, 205 and 1500 actually it is an integer or numbers because they didn't put in the single quotation. But under this one for human resource, you put in the single quotation. So this human resource actually you are going to insert under column department name. It means that this department name you already set as a character. So you have to remember Character you have to put in the single quotation, okay? But for a number or integer, it is up to you. If you want to put in the single quotation also can. If you didn't want to put also can. But for me, normally I will tell my student, put everything in the single quotation, okay? Because we didn't want to get confused. It's okay if you set an integer, if you put a single quotation, your tools will not pop up warning, okay, or error message. But if it is a character, but you didn't put a single quotation, then they will provide to you a error message, okay, because you have to make sure that you put in the single quotation. So again, I repeat, in order to make sure that we didn't confuse all the data that we are going to insert as a row in our database, put it in the single quotation. Okay, so that one which is about the insertion. So, okay, the next one, you can see that you also can omit the column name. For example, from here, you can see that, okay, insert into, follow with the table name. And the next one, you are going to follow with your column name. But if you already confident, you remember the structure or the sequence of the column name in your table, it's okay. Okay, SQL will accept if you didn't put the column name. But then for me, normally, sometimes I will get confused. I didn't know the arrangement. Okay, I'm going to show to you after this. If you open from the tools, okay, if you open from the left screen, you can see that the arrangement which is using the alphabetical order. So I'm afraid that if you follow that alphabetical order, then you will key in data wrongly. So that's why for me, normally I will tell my student, just list down all of your column name, okay? Because they will make sure that they will identify the correct column if they are going to insert your data into your database, okay? So this is example. For example, in this one, you can see that still under insertion, okay? But then you can see that was written without explicitly naming the column, okay? So that's why you can see that we have insert into, this is a syntax for the insertion, follow with the table name, but then they didn't put in the bracket for the column name from here, okay? But starting directly with the word value and then together with the data. So I'm afraid that you can't remember the sequence. So maybe if you type like this, okay, and then you think that sequence still using the alphabetical order, so at the end all your data will become haywire. Okay, so maybe this 102 will be here, 210 will be here, okay, 175 maybe will be here, so you will face problem lah. So that's why for me, I want to play safe. I just list down everything, even though for sure lah, it will take more effort for you to key in the column name. But at least we try to avoid the mistake. Instead of you already create and then after that you have to check again one by one. So already wasting your time. Okay. And then about check the table first. This check the table actually we already create under part 1. Okay. So under check the table. Okay. So you can see that the data almost similar, okay, based on what that you already create using XAMPP, uh, compared to the one which is actually being captured from the Oracle, Apex Oracle. So this one at the PDF format, this one which is actually screen, okay, relating to the table summary, at the Apex Oracle screen, but then for us in the XAMPP screen, so this is the way of how they view, okay? For example, you can see that we have the column name, so here also we have the column name, okay? And then under the type, you can see that we have data type and also together with the data size. But here in the Apex Oracle, they separate, okay? Data type and data size. For the precision and scale, this one you ignore lah. Okay, this one normally they are going to create by themselves lah. This one the system they create by themselves. And the next one for the primary key, you can see that they put in the different column. But for us in our tools, you can see that automatically they will pop up to you or they will give you one key with the gold color, so you already know that one which is a primary key, okay? And then they have one column nullable, so here you can see that we also have one column which is null, such as you can see that here under the column null, At the unique key, since it is a primary key and you also already set as a not null, that's why they pop up here as a no. Okay. So same with this one lah. For example, right now, department ID, if nullable yes, it means that for this one, they will not allow your table to be empty. Okay. But then this part, dash, it means that for the column name, this one they allow you to make it a null value. Okay. So that's why almost similar, just only the representation which is different. Okay, and then next one. Okay, next one. Okay, this one also a table summary. So it is depends on how many table that you have. Here I already explained to you lah. So this one they provide in the separate slide. But then I already summarized everything in one slide for this. Okay, inserting row with the null value. Okay. Right now, you can see that, for example, maybe there are certain row that you want to leave it blank first, but you have to make sure that that particular column you already set, which is allowed the allowed null value. If you set as a not null, then it means that you cannot leave that particular column blank. Okay. Okay, so for this one, you can see that, for example, okay, we are going to insert into employee table, and then together with this particular value, and then you can see that everything. Okay, so we have employee ID 302, first name Grigos, last name which is Polensky, and then the next one phone number 85 something. Okay, hire date 15 of June, job ID IT programming, and then salary which is for 4000. Okay, so this one, it means that there are none of your data or none of your cell will be null because everything you put a data. Okay, so that's why for this one you are going to insert the data. It means that you have to list down everything. But how you are going to allow inserting row with the null value? So if you want to insert row with the null value, you can see that you have to put in the single quotation but then without any value. So that's why, for example, for this one, we are going to insert data. That's why we start with the word insert into, follow with the table name. Okay. And the next one, list of the columns, follow with the word value, and then the next one, which is list of the data. So that's why you can see that, for example, right now, our employee ID 302, first name Grigos, last name Polensky, email GP Lansky, GP Olansky. Okay. Uh, but then you can see that phone number they put here. Okay, in the single quotation, but then without any value. So okay, so it means that this one, if you hit button go, it means that that particular cell will be empty. Okay, because you didn't put any value. Okay, but the next one for the hire date, 15th of June, job ID, IT programming, and also salary. So that's why from here you can see that they are going to insert. If you hit button go, you go to the browse and then you will get this particular data lah. Okay, whatever that you already key in. If you want to key in another data, then they will keep on inserting at the below. Okay, because this one you already know before this when we learn in our DDL, the sequence of the columns and also the sequence of the row is insignificant. So that's why for the row they keep on inserting, but you have to be careful with the column lah. I'm going to show to you after this. Okay, about the sequence of the column. And then insert special values. Sorry, our limited version of the tools not accept insert data under inserting special values such as system date and so on. So this one which is cannot be done lah. Okay. For example, here you can see that they put a system date. System date, this part automatically actually. For example, now employee ID 304, first name test, last name user, email T user, phone number. This is the phone number, but then hire date, you can see that they would put system date. So automatically, actually, the complete version, if you use the complete version of the Oracle, license version of the Oracle, so automatically they will base on the date that you key in. So that's why, for example, this data have been keyed in on 15th of June, then they will pop up of 15th of June. But then, for example, for me, I put employee ID, which is 310, first name, Siti, second name which is last name which is Aminah, and then email Siti Aminah, phone number 4555 and so on. And then hire date automatically, since if I key in today on the 25th of June 2020, then they will pop up automatically 20th of June. Okay, that one again, I repeat, it is just only for complete version of the tools. But then for us, sorry to say, we cannot do this particular part about the special value. Okay. Same with the date type. This one also we cannot set because you already know before this. We just our tools just only accept it is either character or integer or number lah. There sometimes we call as an integer, sometimes we call as a number. Okay, this one which is also the same lah, from the to date and so on, cannot be done. Okay, subquery also cannot be done, this part. So that's all for subsection 12.2. So actually under subsection 12.2, you have to go through, you have to remember again, starting from the slide number 10 until slide number 23. Okay, so it means that just only 13 slide that you have to remember relating to the insertion if we are using the limited version of the SQL or limited version of the RDBMS tool. Okay, then okay, so far any question relating to the subsection 12.1 that my explanation from this particular slide not clear, then you can ask me before I proceed with the database programming. Section 2 which related to the updating and deletion. If you have any question, or if you read before this, you get additional information that I didn't explain, or maybe I also didn't know, so please share with me and also your friend. Okay, come on. Feel free to
Doktor,
share. Yes.
nak tanya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just now doktor explain pasal yang insert null value kan.
Yes.
Macam minggu lepas kita belajar untuk setting table, kita kena setkan sama ada dia not null ataupun kalau tak setting not null, maksudnya kita boleh insert null value kan.
If you already set as a not null, then you cannot insert null value.
Dia akan
So
jadi
that's
error
why
lah.
you have they will pop up to you error.
Okay.
So that's why you have to check again lah whether that particular column accept null value or not.
Seandainya kalau kita dah setting dia not null tapi sepatutnya dia boleh null, kita boleh update balik ke?
Normally that one which is cannot.
Oh, so kena delete table buat table balik.
So you have to delete the table, then you have to add to create again lah. So that's why
Okay.
you have to make sure that the structure which is confirmed before you move to the development.
Okay, baik. Thank you, Doktor.
Okay. Any other question? Or anything that you want to share? You can share first before we move to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we are going to move to the next one about updating. Okay, we are going to update column value, and also we are going to delete the row. Okay, this part under construct and execute, update and delete statement. Then we are going to know about that part lah. But we cannot use the subquery, sorry. Okay, for this part. Normally subquery we just use for the retrieving. After this in the DML part 3. It actually under the select statement. Okay, more to the select statement part. Okay. And then this one, okay, under delete and update, then we are going to know why we have that one. So this one, as you already know before lah. Actually, as I already told you before, there are nothing which is permanent. Okay. So that's why you still can change whatever data that you have in the database. So if anything, for example, you didn't want that particular data, then you simply just can remove that particular data. No need to, for example, you have a company, that particular branch which is already closed down, and then you didn't want the data, any of the data, in that particular branch, then you just simply remove that particular data because you can allocate that particular space for another data. As what I already told you before, the database storage which is very expensive. So that's why we are going to properly manage our data in order to make sure that we fully utilize the storage of the database. Then you can see that this part which is actually relating to the DBA job lah. So all these things normally will be done by the DBA. Okay. And then for the user, this part actually, if you have the complete version, actually you also can use query by example QBE. So it means that it is more to the proper interface, and then you can no need for you to type the SQL lah. Normally for normal user, for sure they are not going to remember, they cannot understand the SQL statement. Okay, so that's why for this one we require additional application programming lah. Okay. Then, okay, under update statement, you can see that modify existing row. It means that you already insert the data using the insertion part, but you can see that, oh, okay, I accidentally key in wrong data. For example, myself, based on previous class, I accidentally uh, wrongly spell, okay, that particular record. So I want to change. That's why you have to go to the modify existing row. No need for you to delete the row and then key in again. That one will waste your time. So it means that you just only refer to the certain column that you are going to change. Then under update statement, normally require name of the table. Next one, which is name of the column. Okay. And about the new value for the column that you are going to change. And the next one, which is relating to the condition. So for this one, if you have the condition, if you have the rows, then you are going to add the condition. If you didn't have a rows, you didn't have the condition, then you just stop until new value. But you have to remember, you have to be careful. If you didn't put the condition, all the data will be changed. Okay, so that's why you have to be careful with this particular update statement. And okay, so that one which is about the single column or multiple column, so it is depend. Okay, now you can see that our update statement in the SQL. Okay, if you want to change, for example, right now we are going to change data in our copy employee table. So if you want to use the update statement, you want to update or you want to modify any of the data in your table, you have to start with the word update. And then after that, you have to follow with the table name. Okay, for example, right now, based on what's stated in the slide number 7, table name, copy employee. So it means that the data that you are going to change relating to the table, copy employee. Okay, then update statement, next one, follow with the word set. Okay, this one actually a syntax. Start with the update and then follow with the set. Set, you can see that you have to know which data that you are going to update. Okay, and then in which column. For example, right now, I want to update data in my copy employees that I'm going to change or I'm going to update the phone number to become 303, then you can see that, okay, just only employee 303, their phone number will be changed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this one which is about the complete statement of SQL statement. But you have to remember, under update statement must start with the word update, follow with the table name, and then the next one, the syntax is set. After set, you have to follow with the column name and equal to, okay, you are going to key in the data that you are going to key in, and then the next one, follow with the word where, then you must have the column name, and then the last one which is from what data that you have. Okay, so you can see that here, for example, phone number you put in the single quotation, but employee ID you didn't put in the single quotation. So it means that from here I can make a conclusion where 303 for the employee ID. Actually, this employee ID, their data type is a number or integer. But for the phone number, at the structure part, you already set phone number as a character. So that's why this one you have to put in the single quotation. Okay. Then this one, if you want to update several row in one update statement. Previously, we just only update one row where that row which is related to the phone number. But now we are going to update phone number and also last name. If you have more than one row, it is actually similar, but you have to separate with the comma. So it means that from here, the first one, you are going to change the phone number. That one for the first column. Okay. And then the second one, because you have one comma, then you are also going to change last name for that particular row. Okay. Which row? So from here you can see that for the employee ID. Okay. So this one, they are using the arithmetic operation. This part actually we are going to cover in our select statement lah next week in our select statement. Okay. So if you put like this, greater or equal to 303, it means that they will change, okay, employee ID equal or greater to 303. So the last name and also phone number will be changed based on what that you already set in your SQL statement. Okay. But if you put here employee ID equal to 303, it means that they just change for the employee ID 303. Okay. But if you put less or equal, then they will be 303, 302, 301 and so on lah. Okay. So this one which is about the again mathematic operator lah. Again related to your mathematics. Okay. Then from here you can see that what happened. Previously you can see that everything we have where. Where it means that they will based on the specific data. Okay. For example, for this one, if I change where first name equal to test, then they just change data for number for the last name for the first name equal to test. So that's why for this one, you have to remember lah what data that you have. For example, for you, okay, after you graduated 20 years, but then you lost your academic transcript. You come to UPSI and then you told the club over there that you want to change or you want to get another copy of your transcript. And then that particular person asks you, can I get your metric number? If you give the metric number, then it means that under the SQL statement where metric number equal to something lah to D207 and so on. Okay. But if you told that particular person, I'm sorry, I can't remember my metric number, but I remember my IC number. Okay. If you give information about the IC number, then you will put here where IC number equal to something. For example, 2020 and so on. Okay. So that's why this one which is related to under condition related to what types of data that you have. Okay. Then you are going to put under where. So where will be based on your specific requirement. But what happened if you didn't put where? So you can see that this particular statement, you just only have update statement, follow with the table name and then set. Okay, you can see that you have phone number equal to something, then you have a comma and then the next one which is last name. So you can see that if you have one comma, it means that you are going to change for two different columns. Where you want to change the first one is phone number and the second one which is last name. You didn't put where condition. So you can see that right like this one, you have 8 different data. All the last name and phone number will be changed based on what you already set before. But if you have thousands of data, then all the thousands of data will be changed. So that's why you have to be careful with the condition, what that you want, and then that particular condition actually related to what types of information that you have. Okay. So that one under update. Okay, updating for the subquery. Okay, this one, since we have the select statement, so we are not going to cover it here. We are going to cover later. Okay, under DML, this part also the same, related to the subquery. Okay, now we are going to move to the delete statement. So delete statement, you can see that remove existing row in the table. You didn't want that data to be exist anymore. For example, you have a branch, okay, such as you open a Tupperware branch. And then previously, you can see that you have one member's name, for example, TP101. But after that, that particular member no longer active. So if no longer active, then you are going to remove the data. You didn't want that particular data to exist in your database anymore. Then you have to use the delete statement. Okay. So delete statement require two values. The first one is name of the table. The second one is condition. Condition that identify the row that you are going to delete. Okay, so same with the insert statement where you also have a where clause. Where clause is means that they will give you a condition, they will specify which information that you are going to update and also which information that you are going to delete. Okay, so from here you can see that this one shows the copy of the employee table to delete one row where the one row which is actually relating to the employee with ID number 303. So you can see that delete statement will start with the word delete from, and then the next one follow with your table name. If you have a condition, then you have to put the word where and follow with the condition. So condition normally start with the your column name and also your data. So if you make it like this, it means that they are going to delete data for the employee ID 303 in the table copy employee. Okay. And then, okay, this one which is subquery, wait, select statement, next part. Integrity constraints, sorry, this one uh, actually relating to you cannot just simply delete or you cannot just simply update any table in your database, because you have to remember if your data which is being used by another table, then that one which is already fall under integrity constraint. It means that you cannot just simply delete. Same with your table before this. If your table, that particular table have one key which is being used as a foreign key in another table, that one you cannot remove. So similar with this one, if any of the data actually belongs to or being used by another table, then that one also you cannot delete. Why? That one which is referring to the integrity constraint. Okay. So, okay, this one, they just check lah which part that will return the error. Okay, so for example, for this one, okay, update employee set department ID equal to 15 where employee ID equal to 100. But they will refer back to the table lah. This one which is, I'm going to show to you one by one using the tools after this. So you can see that they have all those example. Select statement, wait. Okay, so that's all for this one. Before we are going to move to our SQL, before we are going to start with the hands-on, any question relating to the subsection 12.2? Any part which is not clear, confused, then you can ask me, then I can explain again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I assume that in terms of the theory, you already clear, but it's okay, never mind. Once we are going to have hands-on, so maybe when you do it, then you can see which part which is actually you are not clear. So we are going to use hands-on after this. If you want to use hands-on, please make sure that you open your SQL DDL part 2. Because for this one, we are going to start almost similar with the previous process. Just only the different, actually, we are going to use the data manipulation language. Okay, I'm going to arrange my screen so it is easier for me to copy and paste after this. Please make sure that you run your XAMPP. Slow, hold on Okay. So now this is our interface based on our XAMPP. I want you to activate your column, I want you to activate your database. So right now, since myself is now in the group B, so I will activate my database for group B lah. Please make sure that you activate your database. If not, then I'm afraid that they will simply create your table or key in your data in other table, then or maybe they will pop up error because they cannot find because you didn't activate that particular database. Okay. So for me, normally if I move to the DML, so I like to view my column name from here. Okay. So for example, will be based on the alphabetical order. So that's why for this one, as what I already told you before this, when you want to insert the data, okay, if you didn't key in this column name, I'm afraid that you are going to base on the list of the column here. So at the end, once you key in or once you put the value, okay, everything already become haywire because this is not the arrangement what being stored in your database. So for example, for this one, let me, okay. So for example, now under my retail center table, I go to the structure. Okay, so you can see that at my retail center table at the structure, my structure actually start from the unique ID, type and address. But if you refer here, if you put the first one which is as an address, okay, you put here value for the address, for example, Tanjung Malin. Second one, small center, and then the last one which is unique ID, for example, RC001. So you can see that they will put in the wrong sequence. So that's why for me, normally I will tell my student, please write down your column name because we try to avoid mistake of the system will arrange based on the structure of the table. But for you, you just refer based on the alphabetical order that being showed in your PHP My Admin interface. Okay, so that's why you have to be careful lah with this one. Okay. Let's move to the SQL. Okay, so for this part, once you move to the SQL, normally, okay, relating to the manipulation, we will start with the select statement. This select statement, actually, we are going to cover in the select statement part 3. So that's why you just clear everything. But then before that, because this file also, I want you to submit, okay, at the end of we complete everything relating to the SQL. So that's why please write down your name, okay, and then your database name. Database name, please follow again your database name that you already created before. Okay, A192B ship. Okay, so that one is my database name. Now we are going to move to the syntax. So before I move to this one, let me explain relating to the syntax from my notes that are already simplified. So all the information actually already simplified in these 6 pages or 6 pages of the notes. So you can see that under data manipulation language, for the data manipulation language, you already know we can have 3 different process related to the syntax. Okay, the first one is about addition or insertion. Second one, okay, for the modification or updating. And then the last one is about removing. Okay, we are using the delete syntax. So just only 3. So that's why this one, all these things actually referring to the subsection 12.1 and 12.2 in your Oracle Academy notes. Okay. So you already know that before this, if you want to add data, Okay, you have to you can see that as like what I already done for my part 1 SQL part 1 handout. Okay, so we will start with the syntax. Syntax where we will start with the word insert into, follow with the table name, and then next one list of the columns, then follow with the syntax value, and then list of the values from here. Okay, so this one which is you have to list down the list of the column. Second one, you didn't list down the list of the columns. But as I already told you before, please follow the first one. This means that please save, key in all the columns name. Okay, so that one relating to the syntax. And we have a sample here. Okay, this example where I'm going to insert a new record into a customer table. Okay, I'm going to insert a new record into a customer table. So that's why I'm going to start with the word insert into, follow with my table name. My table name right now is customer. And then the next one, follow with the list of the column. So that's why I list down everything. For example, right now, I have 6 different columns. I list down everything. Okay, the name of the column. And then next one, follow with the word value, open bracket, and then I will list down all my data that I'm going to key in. So you can see that from here, okay, our customer name is Cardinal. Okay, contact name Tom B. Richard. Okay, address Kagan 21, city Stavanger, postal code 4006, country is Norway. Okay, so you can see that everything. For me, okay, I can set postal code as an integer or number, but you can see that this example still put in the single quotation because as I already told you before, if you already set that the data type for that column as a number or integer, they will not pop up error if you put in the single quotation. But for those data type that you already set as what I call that, as a sorry, lost. Okay. But if that one that you already set as a character, so you have to make sure that you put in the single quotation. Okay, so that one relating to the data. So after this, you key in, then you are going to get the output lah. We are going to go through after this how we are going to key in the data. So that one relating to the insertion. But you can see that for your exercise, this one, please make sure that you insert at least 3 data for all of the table because we are going to check. So for this one, if you refer to your assignment number 2 before this, then you can key in the data relating to your assignment number 2 lah. Okay, because we want to see what happened. Is it any mistake or whatsoever, then you will know. Because of that problem, then you will know, oh, okay, this part which is actually should be exist at another column first or another table first before we can create here. So that's why I want a lot of data, not just only one data. If one data, maybe you didn't face that with that mistake. Okay. And then the next one, okay, after we perform the insert, we are going to modify the data. Okay, modify the data, it means that I'm going to change whatever data that we already key in before. So if we want to change, then we have to use update syntax. So under update syntax, as what you already know before, we have to start with the word update, follow with the table name, and then the next one, follow with the syntax set, and then list of the columns and value that you are going to change. If we just have one comma, it means that we are going to have 2 different value. But if you have more than 2, then you just keep on repeating lah. Maybe up until column number 6 equal to value number 6. So you still can change here and there based on your requirement. Okay, the next one, follow with the condition, what rules that you have. Again, you have to remember if you didn't put condition, all of your data will be changed. But in this one, if you have a condition, then you will key in the condition lah. Condition will start with the column's name and then the last one which is what information that you are going to refer to. Okay, so that one is about update. From here, you can see that, for example, based on this one, okay, the following SQL statement update customer, okay, relating, because I have information customer ID with view, contact person, and phone city. So that's why you can see that we are going to update table customer. We have information relating to the customer ID number 1, and then we are going to change or we are going to update contact person and city. also city. And then what is the new data that you are going to key in? So that's why you can see that contact name equal to average switch. And then city Frankfurt. This one for whom that you are going to update. And then you already know that we are going to update based on the condition for the customer ID equal to 1. So this one relating to the customer ID equal to 1. It means that just only one data will be updated because you already put the condition where customer ID equal to 1. Okay. And then the next one, if you want to delete, you want to remove, okay? If you want to remove, then you have to delete the delete syntax. You have to use the delete syntax. Okay, delete syntax must start with the word delete from, follow with the table name. Okay, under delete, you have to remember, if you just put delete from table name, if your table, you have 50 row, okay, without the condition, for example, if I refer to this one. Where's that one? Hold on. The table data. So not here. Okay, let's try to move to this one. Okay, so you can see that, for example, right now, I just put delete from table name. Okay, right now, this is table employee. I put delete from employee. In the employee, you can see that I have 8 data. So all 8 data will be removed. They just leave the structure. So that's why you have to be careful. But if I have a condition where delete from, okay, employee where employee ID equal to 200. It means that we just delete this part, which is 200 Jennifer Jones and the telephone number lah. Okay. So that one you have to be careful. If you just want to delete certain data or certain row in your database, then you have to put the condition, which part that you are going to delete. If not, if you didn't put the condition, then everything will be deleted from your file. Okay. Okay, so that one, that's all. Okay, this one, another example lah. Okay, delete customer for customer net effort for Skype. Okay, so that one is means that they just identify. For example, this one is column name. So identify from the column name where is the data or record that have name effort for the Skype. Okay, so they just remove that. They remove that particular part lah. Okay, so that's all based on the syntax. Now, let's move to our hands-on. So, make sure that everybody is ready. So, all of you ready to move to the syntax, to our syntax? If not, then I will afraid that you will lost. So far, any problems? Okay, no response. So, I assume that everybody... Yes.
Doktor? Okay.
Anything? Yes?
Untuk kan macam doktor kata nak based on kalau kita nak delete ataupun nak update kan. Dia based on primary key ke atau macam mana? Sebab kan tadi
tak
kan,
kisah. It's okay.
tak
It's okay.
kisah.
It is depends on your data. For example, if you have data relating to the what you call that, relating to the name. Oh, okay. I just remember my name. But then, for example, for the student table, primary key is student ID. The student can't remember the primary key student ID. But then they said that I just remember the name. But then you have to be careful lah with the name because you have to double check because the name which is normally repeated, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's why you have to be careful if you refer to the name. But then actually it is depends on what types of data that you have.
So lagi elok cari yang unique punya.
For sure lah. Yes, because for that one
senang edit sebagai condition lah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So for example, one of the student come okay, for example lah this student actually already stopped study at UPSI. So her name, for example, Ahmad. His name is Ahmad bin Abu. Okay. So if you want to delete Ahmad bin Abu, when you run, you have to be careful because maybe we have 20 students which is Ahmad bin Abu. So that's why you have to reconfirm again. Okay, we already have Ahmad bin Abu, but then this Ahmad bin Abu, which is we have 20 data Ahmad bin Abu. But maybe you can put condition. Okay, another part of the condition where student name equal to Ahmad bin Abu and for example, program name is Diploma Science Computer. So you can see that it will narrow down the data. Okay.
Okay, faham tu. Thank you.
Okay. So it is not specifically to the primary key, but then you can use any column. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So any other question? Any part still not confused? So far, okay. After this, please do not use chat, because if you use chat, when I present, I cannot view, okay, because I just view the screen, so that's why I cannot view the chat. So all this screen will be gone. I just only can view my PHP my admin and just only my notes. So that's why if you have anything, it is better for you to actually voice out. So now we are going to add our data. Okay. If you want to add your data, you have to make sure you add your data in the table that didn't have or didn't require data from the relating to the foreign key. Okay? Because if you add data that require foreign key first, they will pop up warning because that data doesn't exist at the original table. So similar with your table before this. Your table also, I already told you that please create table without foreign key first. And then after that only you can create table with the foreign key. So similar with this one, under insertion, you have to add data that didn't have the foreign key. So that's why let me refer to my table before this. My table, in my database, I have table retail center and I have table ship item. You have to remember in the table shape item, I have one column named as a unique ID where that unique ID actually a foreign key. It means that actually it is should exist at another table first. So that's why you have to create that one. So that's why I cannot start my table creation with the ship item. I have to start with the retail center. So that's why for this one, under insertion, you refer back to my syntax, okay? And then, for example, I base on example, directly to the example. So you can see that we are going to start with the word insert into, okay? After insert into, follow with our table name. Our table name right now, which is retail center. So I'm going to key in retail center. After retail center, actually, if you didn't want to key in your column name is okay, but you have to make sure that you didn't follow this sequence lah. My interface right now or my version right now, they list down the sequence here. So if they list down the sequence here, then it's okay. You can refer to this part. But if you didn't have this particular part, make sure that you remember the table structure before this. So that's why it is really, really important for you to refer back to your table structure that you already created before. For example, right now, okay, I'm under my retail center, this is my structure. Starting with the type, unique ID, and address. So that's why you have to be careful lah with this one, okay? But for you right now, okay, because this one actually my example, I based on for part C, okay, for class C. So for my class, this one actually I start with the unique ID. Okay, and then next one, type. And then the last one, which is address. Okay, after list down all the columns, close our bracket. And then next one, follow with the value. Okay, so for value, this a word value. Okay, you are going to put word value. Okay, after word value, you have to open bracket. Okay, so for this one, you have to remember lah, if you want to identify which one which is number, which one integer, and also which one which is character, then you can identify integer and number, no need to put in the single quotation. But then for me, I want to play safe. So I will put everything in the single quotation. So for example, unique ID for my retail center right now, which is I'm going to put with the RC101. Okay, type, for example, this one, which is small retail center. Okay, and then the next one, address, for example, this one is Tanjung Maling. Okay, close and close bracket. Okay, and then again close with the semicolon. So before we face any error or whatsoever problems for this part, let's copy and paste first. So it means that after this, no need for you to retype again. So we just copy and paste after this. Okay. So I'm going to paste here. Oops. Okay. So let's see if I hit button go, whether we got error or not. Okay. Let's me hit button go. Then let's scroll down. So you can see that from here we have problem. Okay. Relating to this part. So you can see that expected near to the position. Okay, this error, which is, you can see that at the line number 10. Okay, I have error in this part. The data center, small data center. Okay. This one, I'm missing what symbol here. This one data center, done. Okay. Let
Unit
me check
ID.
first. Huh?
Unit ID.
Why unit ID? What happened to the unit ID?
The red one, RC101, the
Okay.
quotation maybe?
Oh,
Ada
thank you
quotation
very
sebelah tu.
much. Missing my quotation. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so missing. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, missing the single quotation. See myself also. Sometimes just read first time. Sometimes cannot detect the error. Here. Okay, so now let's see whether I have error or not because I forgot to put the quotation before this. Okay, let's see. There are some of the editor, for example, based on my previous class, some of the editor, because they are more latest version, so they will have a red color here. So automatically you can go directly to that particular line. But then myself, since I'm using quite old editor, so that's why that thing which is not being viewed lah. Okay, maybe some of you here also, you will have the data size together with the data type. So that one which is more easier compared to my old version. So let's see, let's try to, what you call that? Let's try to hit button go, whether I still have something which is missing. Okay, so far, luckily this one which is no more error because there are no more red color. Okay, so this one which is correct. Now we are going to see what actually happened or how that data already inserted in our table. Okay, so you can go to the tab browse and then you can see that we already put the unique ID RC101 small retail center and Tanjung Malin. Okay, so this is the output. Then I'm using the snipping tool. Okay, we are going to snip based on the record that we already inserted before. And then the next one, I'm going to my SQL part 2. So I'm going to paste it here. Then you have to arrange a little bit lah, this one. Okay, so that's why you can see that if you refer back to your assignment number 3, okay, under assignment number 3, previously under DDL, you can see that we put under or we copy from the tab structure for the output. But for this one, for the DML, we copy from the tab browse for the output. So you can see that right now, okay, we are performing insertion. So statement, for example, okay, if I refer to my example for this one, okay, so it means that I'm going. I have to minimize this. Okay. Now you can see that the statement, if I put like this, okay, insert data. Oh, this one which is under Microsoft, sorry, under PDF. So you have to put here under the tab statement, inserting data in the table retail center with the record unique ID is RC101, type is small retail center and address Tanjung Malay. So after you type that one, then you key in the SQL statement, you copy the from the browse tab lah for this one. And then the next one, since you have to add at least 2 for the insertion, then you have to add another row, then you are going to have for another insertion. So you can see that for each of the SQL DDL, you must have 2. It means that you are going to have 2 for the insert, 2 for the update, 2 for the delete. And then this select statement, actually we are going to cover in the part 3 lah. So it means that here, you are going to have 8 different statements for this part. Okay, one by one. So for this one, actually, if you're not clear, then you can ask me again lah. Okay, this part, what actually you should do. Because for the table definition, very clear. You have to create 5 entities. It means that you are going to have 5 table names. It means that you are going to have 5 rows. For example, customer, product, and then staff, and then receipt, and also order. Okay, so that one for the table. Very direct. But for this one, you have to, based on insert, to SQL statement, selection to SQL statement, update to SQL statement, and deletion also to SQL statement. And then this statement depends on your requirement. For example, for my next statement, which is to insert data in the table retail center, which is consists of unique ID RC201, and then the type is region, okay, region branch, and then address is Kuala Lumpur, for example. Okay, so that one settle for the 2 insertion under creation. Okay, now we are going to try to insert one more under table retail center. So if you want to insert one more, so go to the button SQL, clear this part first. I'm going to copy this one because I didn't want to key in the column name. Okay, previously still, because in the table retail center, okay, this is the sequence of my my columns. But previously, I want, as I already told you before, I want to insert for RC or for unit ID RC201, region branch. Okay, and then the address is at Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so before we got any mistake or anything which is still missing, I forgot to key in. So let me copy first. Okay, let's try hit button go, whether still got problems or not. Okay, so this one you can see that there are no more red box. It means that this one which is successful. Then go to the tab browse, and then you can see that we already have another one data or one record, which is RC201, region branch and Kuala Lumpur. Then we are going to copy this part. Okay, now where is it? Just P. Okay, so you can see previous one when we add the first one RC101, just only one record. And then now I add another record 201. So you can see that in my database I already have two different data. So this one actually relating to the table without foreign key. Now we are going to move to the next one, table with the foreign key. Okay. For the table with the foreign key, you have to make sure that your unique ID related to the your unique ID related to the one that you already created before. If not, then you cannot insert that particular record. Okay, let me try first. This one, go to the tab SQL. But now we are going to base on the table ship item. Okay. So for the table ship item, we are going to key in for the insertion. Copy this one first. Okay. But our table name that we are going to key in right now is ship item. Okay. And then the next one, we have to list down all the column name. So my editor or my tools right now, I have the sequence of the column name which is at the right side. And I'm going to key in one by one from here. Item number. So after item number weight, after weight dimension, next one insurance amount, and then destination. Oops, sorry. Okay, after destination, final delivery date, and then the last one is unique ID. Okay, then we are going to key in the value. So for example, right now my item number is IT001, weight 12 kg, and then dimension, for example, 12 times 24 times 10. And then the next one, insurance amount, for example, 250 ringgit. Next one, final delivery date is on 30th of June 2020. And then unique ID, for example, I'm going to use RC44. Sorry, 44. Okay. So before I got any problem, let's copy first. Okay, paste this one. So let's see whether we got an error or not. Hit button go. Okay, let's scroll down. So you can see that right now I got an error. So can someone help me? What's the problem actually? Why I still got error? Is it I still missing any symbol or what? What's my problem right now? Come on.
It's the destination.
Is the
We
destination? What
haven't
happened
put the
with my
destination.
destination?
We
Huh?
we haven't put the destination yet.
We haven't put the destination yet.
Yes.
I have lots of. Thank you. Okay, that one which is one problem. Actually, that one they just leave it blank lah. But then all the data will become haywire. Okay. So my destination right now, for example, what JB. Okay. Okay, this one which is one problem. Let me copy first, paste it here. Okay, so let me hit button go again. Still error. What's the problem? Still missing?
The data did not exist for the particular unique ID.
So I also have to check one by one. Okay, we have item number, we have rate, we have dimension, we have insurance amount, and then thanks for your friend, which is I forgot to put JB before this. But then if I didn't put, it means that that one which is we'll leave it blank. Okay, and then final delivery date, and then we have unique ID. But then still why still got error? Huh?
Reference foreign key
Why?
code.
What's the
There's
problem?
no data.
What data? No data.
Data for the unique ID.
Which one?
It's not in the
Which one?
unique ID for RC44.
So you can see that because previously when we key in, okay, when we key in data for our table retail center before this, you can see that I just key in RC101 and also 201. So that's why this one which is doesn't exist in our database. That's why you cannot get the output for this part. Okay. So that's why I'm going to change this one to 201. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, so far there are no more mistake. Everything which is already done. Let's move to table browse. Okay, and then you can see that all the data which is already inserted. So let's copy this one. Okay, copy this part and then paste in our output. Okay, so for now, I want you to try, okay, based on the insertion. So you try to add 2 record for each of the table, at least 2 table, okay? And then if you have any problems, then you can show the screen. But for those who didn't have problem, I will allow you to present your screen, okay? I just give around 20 minutes, okay? If you want to show to me your assignment number 2, you also can show me your assignment number 2. Because if not, then just wait at the end, you didn't show, so wasting our time. So come on, because like what happened in my previous class, they didn't show in the beginning, but then at the end, everybody before the class end keep on want to show their assignment number 2. So I'm going to stop sharp at 5, because I have another webinar after this at 5:30. So that's why I'm not going to continue. So that's why please, if you want to show to me relating to the problem for your SQL statement, then you can show for the problem statement. And then if not, you can show based on your assignment number 2. If you want to confirm your ERD, is it correct or not? So come on. I gave you 20 minutes. So now 3:35, 3:55, we are going to continue with the next one, actually relating to the updating and also deletion. So you can take over my screen if you want to show. Fully utilize our class, not just only for this part, but then you also can show for your assignment. Come on, anyone want to show something? Any of you got problem? Please respond to me. Come on, come on, come on.
Okay doktor. Doktor
Yeah,
nak tengok assignment dulu ya?
boleh. If you want to show your assignment number 2, also you can show your assignment number 2.
Okay.
So take over
Actually,
my presentation.
actually I have some problem on sharing my my presentation from my laptop, so I will ask my
Ah,
teammate to display the
okay,
assignment.
can. Okay, can.
Sekejap ya doktor.
Okay.
Sorry doktor, I'm waiting for my group mate.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So our group would like to present our assignment, which is about the food online ordering system.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our ERD, but we're not sure either our cardinality is
Never
is
mind. You just explain first, and then we are going to chat together after this.
so there are 5 entities involved in this ERD, which is customer, orders, foods, employees, and payments.
Okay.
So based on this ERD, so in the customer entity, there are 6 attributes, which is customer ID, customer password, customer name, customer address, phone number, and email.
Mm-hmm.
So on the orders entity is the order ID, customer ID, order status, delivery time, and order time. So um, our database function is to allow customer to order the food from the restaurant
Mm-hmm.
online, so they
Mm-hmm.
can also make payment online.
Okay. So please, ignore the word online because we as a database developer, we didn't bother whether it is online or not.
Okay.
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 Okay. So anything else that you want to explain based on this part?
Um, so the flow of the ERD is when customer can make more than one orders, and in the orders they can order more than one food,
Mm-hmm.
but the order can only be taken by only one employees, and
Okay.
one customer only can make one payment.
Okay. Okay. So that one which is based on the flow lah.
Yes.
Okay. So before I give comment, open to your classmate. We have 50 members. Okay. In this class, what actually missing in this diagram? What missing? This diagram is not complete yet. So what part that they should add?
Doctor,
Yes.
I think they not yet solved the many-to-many relation.
Which part many to many?
Order and put the
Ah, so that one which is cannot be exist lah. So you have to change that one.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
based on the order. But then what else missing? What else? Come on.
I think they also uh don't
Come
don't
on,
don't
come on, come on, come on.
Relationship.
Ah, relationship what, Noraisha? Is it Noraisha, isn't it before this?
yes.
The
My
relationship what? That's Noraisha.
Relationship detail.
Relationship detail. Is it the name is relationship detail? Relationship name which is missing.
oh, okay.
So that part missing, so you have to add relationship name because as I already told you before, if you miss to put relationship name, maybe 0.25 or 0.5 mark will be gone. Then you just imagine if the amount which is 0.5, it means that 2 marks already gone. Okay.
Okay.
But now I would like to ask you, customer make payment based on order, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's why the relationship between the payment to the customer should be removed, but the payment should have a relationship with the orders.
Oh, okay.
So you have to change that one lah.
Okay.
Okay. And then other than that, you have to double check again based on the movement of the prime of the foreign key. So you can see that I didn't know why you have order ID in your original table, in your original ERD. Why you have order ID as a foreign key in the table payment?
Oh, sorry, that's our mistake because we have put the order ID at the other table. We should put that on the relational table or in the table. No, we should not put it in the ERD.
So that's why you have to be careful lah. And then for this one, since I already told you that you have to change your payment link to the orders, so then you have to double check again lah based on the movement. And then just now, I think that Diana told us that based on the orders, you cannot have many to many relationship. So you have to change lah. So that changes. Maybe you can change based on the data, or maybe you can add another intersection entity. So that one just depend on your requirement. Okay, so you have to double check with your team members how you are going to solve that many to many relationship.
Okay.
Okay. So what else that you want to show?
Noraisha, can you scroll down to our table? Doctor, I want to ask you. We have said that the foreign key, the primary key in the ERD. So do we need to underline the attribute?
So that one which is depend whether you want to use the word PK or you want to put underline.
Oh,
or you want to
either
both.
one.
Either one also can, both also can.
Okay.
But then you have to make sure that if, for example, table customer, you already put word PK. So in the table employee also you use the word PK lah. You do not use in the table customer word PK, but then in the table employee you use underline. So that one which is wrong. Okay?
So this is our data dictionary, which is involving table based on the entity. We have table, customer table. We have employees table. Which we have put the foreign key and the primary key.
Okay.
For the order table. Okay. Scroll down.
Okay. So far, based on the structure, okay.
Okay.
Because you just use character and number, so that one can be accepted in our limited version of tool lah. For that one. Okay.
So next we will show you our relational table.
For the data.
For the
So
data.
data, make sure that you key in be careful again lah. Previously, you already can comment my what you call it, my mistake before this. So for example, if you have customer ID such as AB00157, okay, which table that using customer ID as a foreign key?
Can you scroll up? Can you scroll above? So the customer ID at the customer table.
At the orders table, isn't it?
Yes.
As a foreign key. So double check. Make sure that that customer ID exists in the table customer first, and then that customer ID also exists in the table table orders.
Okay, sure.
So other than that, everything which is good. Okay.
So I will double check the relation and the name of the relation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will double check the relational table, and the next I will check back the foreign key and the primary key.
Yes. And then after that,
Okay.
you just simply submit. Everybody need to submit,
Okay, sure.
Everybody submit. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Okay,
next
thank you,
one.
Doctor.
Okay, welcome. Next. You have another 7 minutes. It is up to you whether you want to show your assignment or you want to show your problems relating to the database development. Yes? You want to present? You can present. Okay, take over the screen. Okay. Explain. It is too slow. Can you speak louder or make sure that the mic which is near to your mouth? Okay, Farah, can you speak louder or is it just only myself cannot hear you? Can you speak louder? Actually, I cannot hear you. It's okay, never mind. Proceed lah. Okay.
For ER diagram, use graph model. Okay, there's 5 entities which is patient, doctor, appointment, room, and bill. Can you hear it, doctor?
Actually, it is not clear. It's okay, never mind, never mind. Okay, proceed.
Okay. For patient table, the attribute that I have is patient ID as primary key, patient name, patient identity card, patient gender, and doctor ID as foreign key. For patient table, patient treated by a doctor, just doctor, the attribute is doctor ID as primary key, doctor name, doctor gender, and doctor department. Then a patient treated by a doctor, which is in doctor table. Then patient also scheduled for appointment. In table appointment, you have appointment number as primary key, appointment date, appointment duration, appointment reason, patient ID as foreign key, and doctor ID as foreign key. But doctor, I want to ask
Farah, I really cannot hear you. Can someone from your team members explain? Who can explain? Because I cannot hear you.
Okay. Wait, I ask my group attendant.
That one which is okay. That's why you have to speak louder. You have to speak louder. Ah,
Now? Yes?
louder please. If you laugh, that one which is louder. Okay, so now try explain again. But then make sure that you speak louder.
Okay,
Okay.
again, I start. Okay. For our assignment 2, we make a database for hospital management system. I use graphic model, which is there is 5 entities, which is patient, doctor, appointment, room, and bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For patient table, the attribute we have is patient ID as primary key, patient name, patient identity card, patient gender, and doctor ID as foreign key.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Okay.
okay,
Okay, that one which is we can view. But then right now, actually, how's the process or the story actually from your diagram? What's the process? What's the story?
the patient is treated by a doctor, and a patient also can schedule for appointment.
Okay.
Patient also admit for a room and issue a bill.
Okay. This one you create for what? For clinic or for hospital?
For hospital,
Hospital. So hospital, is it relating to the admission or still just appointment? Is it admission or just appointment?
appointment,
Huh?
appointment.
If appointment, then why you have to identify the room?
It's both, doctor.
Huh?
Both.
But if you put appointment here, I can see that just only relating to the appointment, it means that you go there and then you just see the doctor. So that's why for me, I think that maybe you can change instead of the appointment to the admission lah. So for admission, for sure, you will go and see the doctor. But right now, actually, I want the story. Okay, for example, my story based on, I create based on my assumption lah. But then correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, because maybe my assumption which is different. Okay, so for example, okay, patient will go to the hospital. Okay, and then will admit to the hospital. Okay, and then for the admission, the doctor will check lah based on the admission, and then will assign the room. Okay, and then the next one, based on the admission also, the patient will be assigned the bill. Okay, so right now, or maybe instead of admission, if you want to use both, maybe you can put what, registration. So you have to identify lah what keyword instead of the appointment. Okay, so for example, that's why I told you. Okay, for example, my story, patient will go to the hospital, okay, for the admission. So doctor will check the patient based on the admission date, and then from that admission, that patient will be assigned the room, okay, and then from that admission information also, the patient will be assigned the bill. Okay, so you can see or not my story.
Okay.
Okay, so from my story, actually, it is not the patient at the middle, but then your admission or registration will be at the middle. So the patient, doctor, and also because patient, maybe they will go to the hospital few times. So how you are going to identify which room which is being assigned to that particular patient based on the admission information. Okay, and the next one, doctor will entertain the patient. So which doctor will entertain the patient based on the information from the admission. So maybe today that particular patient go to the hospital. So Dr. A will be entertained based on the admission information or admission ID and so on lah. Okay. And then bill. So how, based on the room, how you are going to assign the bill? Okay. So that's why again relating to the admission. So that's why you have to be careful. Your diagram, you have to remove again your relationship and then you have to rearrange your relationship.
Okay.
Okay. So you can do changes first. Hopefully that before our class end. So you can present again after this. For this part, you have to update this one first. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, okay.
Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to move to the next part. Okay, relating to the updating. So we want to update our data. If you want to update our data, then you will have to go to the SQL DML number 2, which is about modifying the data. So for modifying data, you can see that we start with the word update table name and then set the column name together with the condition if we have the condition lah. Okay. So right now, for example, I'm going to type, okay, this part. I'm going to type the update statement, clear this one first. So for the update, we start with the word update. Okay, and then update table name. So for example, right now, I'm going to update table, okay, retail center. Okay, update table, update, and then follow with the table name, retail center. And then I'm going to set the value. Okay, so right now, for example, one of my retail centers. So let me move back to my data before this. Okay, my retail center, for example, right now retail RC101. Okay, previously, which is the type is small retail center, but then the address is Tanjung Malim. But now I want, because that particular retail center already moved from Tanjung Malim to Slim River. So I'm going to change address, okay, from the Tanjung Malim to Slim River for retail center number RC101. Okay, so that my condition. Okay, so right now set follow with the column name. My column name right now is address. Why it is not appear on address? Oh, sorry. See, I'm not activate that particular table, so I have to update this one first. Okay. Okay, go to the SQL. Okay, update. Okay, table retail center. Okay, and then set. Okay, I want to change the address. Okay, address right now I want to change from the Tanjung Malim to Slim River. Okay, close. And then this one, okay, because I just want to change one. And then previously I told you that I have a condition where I want to change for the retail center RC101. If I didn't put, okay, this particular, I didn't put the condition, it means that both for my retail center at the table retail center, okay, for both of the my unit ID RC101 and RC201 will change to the Slim River. But I just want to change for those which is located at Tanjung Malim. So that's why, because I have a condition, then I have to put the word where. Okay, where address. Sorry, not address. Where unit ID, eh? Unit ID equal to RC101. Okay. So now copy first before we got any error. Okay, so let's see whether got error or not based on my statement, this one. Okay, so I hit button go. Okay, let's scroll down. Okay, so far there are no red box. It means that it is successful. Let's go to let's go to the tab browse, and then you can see that the address has been changed from Tanjung Malian to Slim River. Okay, then copy this part in your cell. Okay, and then that one which is just only one column. And then for example, if I want to change two columns, so I will refer to the table this one lah. I have to make it. Okay, I will change, for example, based on the dimension and also insurance amount for my item number. Let's see this one. Okay, for my item number IT101. So you can see that I want to change the the destination and insurance amount. Okay, so for this one, now since I want to change relating to the table ship item, I have to activate table ship item and then go to the table, go to the tab SQL, clear this part first. Okay, I just copy first. Let me copy from the previous one. Okay, so now I want to change table ship item. Okay, and then I want to change the insurance amount and destination. Insurance amount. Okay, insurance amount I want to change to 50. And then the next one, another one, which is I'm going to change the destination. Okay, equal to, for example, this one, Alustar. Okay, so that's two. But then I want to change for the item number IT001. Okay, hopefully my spelling is correct lah. So before anything happen, copy first. And then paste here. And then let's see whether I got error or not. Let's hit button go. Okay, luckily there are no red box. Then we go to the tab browse. Okay, and then you can see that 001. I already changed before this. Hold on, shape item clear. V. Destination shape item insurance amount. This one is already done. Did it change? Save. What's the problem? Okay, there are nothing. Oh, but then 0 row affected. Is it my code number which is wrong? Let me check again. What's my code number before this? IT001 because already IT001. One, this one didn't change. Oh, sorry. See? This part, it is not unit ID, it is item number. Okay, so this one, which is item number. Item number. Okay, so let's copy first. We got any error? Okay, so let's see whether still got error or not. Hit button go. Okay, so now one row affected. So let's see based on the browse. Okay, our insurance amount have been changed to 50 and also destination have been changed to Alustar. And we are going to copy this one. Okay, and then paste it here. Okay, so for this part, based on my requirement, before this, what my requirement from here? Okay, so modify two existing data for any two tables. But then myself right now, I just modify one data for each of the table. So that's why for you, before you submit after this, make sure that you fulfill my requirement from the top of the of my table lah for this part. So you have to update again. Okay, that one actually relating to the updating. Any part which is you not sure or any part not clear, then you can ask me again. Okay, about the updating. So I give you 5 minutes. Okay, to ask me about the update information in the table. Any of you got problem based on this part? If got problem, then you can present your screen and then we are going to solve together. Because sometimes maybe because for us when we do it, which is quite rushing, so sometimes there are spelling error and so on. So that's why we have to double check again one by one. Okay. Any of you got problem so far? Please share with me and also share with your friend. I'm going to count until 5. If not, then I'm going to proceed with the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So now we are going to move to the last one at the data manipulation language relating to the removing data in our table. Okay, so for removing data, you can see that actually you just can put delete from follow with the table name. But you have to remember, if you didn't put any condition, you just put delete from follow with the table name and all of the data will be deleted. Okay, if you have 1,000 data, 1,000 data will be deleted. But then no need to worry because normally your editor will give you a warning message. Okay, so they will ask you whether you are sure or not to delete. Okay, so that's why you have to read again lah. That's why for this one, you can see that actually based on our tools, anything problem, they will provide to you a help. Okay, it is something like a guiding, then you have to read, you have to understand what message which is being given by the system itself. Okay, so but you have to remember under deletion you have to delete data at the table which is not being used as a foreign key. Okay, so that's why for example right now our retail center table, there are some of the data, okay, which is under unique ID being used as a foreign key in the ship item. So that's why you cannot delete data in the retail center first because some of the data exists in the table ship item. Then you have to delete the data at the ship item first and then after that only you can remove data out at the retail center. Or if not, for example, you didn't want to remove data at the what call that, at the table which is use the foreign key, then you have to change, you have to update that one to make it blank first. So you have to update set as a blank first, and then after that only you can delete. If not, then they will pop up a warning. Okay. So for example, myself right now, as I already told you before, okay, my unique ID RC201, okay, being used in the table shape item. So if I go to table retail center, if I want to delete data RC01, they will pop up a warning message. So let's try. Now our data RC201, I key in. If not, I will forget RC201. Okay. So we want to remove data at the retail center. For example, you think that, okay, right now, data branch RC201 already closed. So you have, maybe you have to transfer first. So that's why here you have to update unique ID, change instead of RC01, then you have to change to RC101 lah. It means that you relocate the location first, and then after that only you can delete. But right now I just want to show to you what happened if I delete a data where some of the data actually being used by another table. Okay, so clear this one. If you want to delete from, so now I want to delete from retail center. Okay, if I just put like this and then I hit button go, all of the data will be removed. Okay, so everything, all the data will be removed. They just have their heading. Okay, all the structure will be there. So that's why I'm not going to use this one, but I'm going to delete retail center where unique ID, because I have a condition where, okay, unique ID equal to RC201. So before I got any error or whatsoever, let me copy first. Okay, so let's see whether we can delete or not. Just hit button go. Okay, so you can see that, okay, unknown RC201 in where clause. Okay, so for this one, they cannot delete because at the where clause, this one, which is actually being used by another table. So that's why for this one, I'm going to change to RC101. RC101 before this, which is not being used. Okay, so let hit button go. Unique ID. Okay, now I already activate. Okay, why this one? Hold on. It is enter. What a lot of mistake in here. Hold on. Unique ID. Let me check again based on the structure. Browse. Okay. Ayo. Okay, clear this one first. P. Always forgot. Okay. So now RC201, I hope that still exists. Let me browse first. Clear this part first lah. Let me browse. Okay. Okay, RC201 exists here. Let me move to the ship item, browse. Whether that 201 which is being used as foreign key. Okay, RC201 being used as a foreign key. Okay. So go back to SQL. Clear this part. V. Okay, so now previously forgot this part. Okay, let's hit button go. Okay, so you can see that this is actually the error that we want lah. Okay, so cannot delete or update parent now or foreign key constraint. Okay, So you can see that here foreign key constraint where that particular data actually exists or being used by another table. So that's why you cannot delete. But for example, if I hit, okay, if I change this one to RC101, because RC101 before this, which is doesn't exist at the ship item. So let's hit button go. Okay, they will pop up a message, so you have to read. Okay, so you can see that one error effect, one row affected. So this one actually already successful. Let's go to the button browse. Okay, this part previously we have 2 data, but then right now we just only have 1 data. Data center. Okay, sorry, this one. You can see that previously we removed 101. Previously we have 2 data, but then now we just only have 1 data. So snip this part first. Okay. And then you just paste in your Microsoft Word lah. Okay. Then the next one, what will happen? For example, right now, okay, I'm going to remove this data at the ship item. Ship item previously, yes, we have unique ID, but then this one actually a foreign key, foreign data. Okay. They just use the data actually exists at another table. So let's remove this part. For example, IT1001. Okay, we are going to remove this part. Okay, now I want to remove table. I want to remove data at the ship item. Okay, for the ship item where their item number. Okay, item number equal to IT001. IT001. Okay, before we got error, copy this one first. Okay, let's hit button go, whether we got error or not. Okay. Okay, still. Aduh. Hold on. Delete item. I accidentally copy before this. Ship item. Where item number. Item number. Okay, equal to IT001. Okay, copy. Control C. Move here. I accidentally copy the previous one. Okay, paste here. Okay, so now let's see this one whether got error or not. Okay, they will ask you. Where item number? I have the item number IT001, isn't it before this? So just ship item. Okay, from ship item. Item number. Right. Mistake. Item number IT001. Does it exist in my data before this? Item number. IT001, yes. Okay, let me browse again. I have IT001. Ship item, item number. Yeah. ID 001. Close. Hit button go. Okay. Okay, so maybe previously because I copy from there. Okay, so you can see that one row affected and then go to the table browse and then you can see that there are no of the data. Since you are using, okay, here because right now we are using DML. Okay, under DML, since you are using delete, that's why they are not going to delete, they are not going to remove your table structure. But if you are using the word drop, so this one also will be empty. So it means that everything will be removed from your database. But for the data manipulation language, as I already told you before, they are not going to remove the structure, they just remove the data. So the structure is still there. So that's why you still can perform insertion again, then you just simply insert the data here. So snip this part and then you just copy in your Microsoft Word lah after this. Okay. So far, any part which is not clear, because myself also when I do in your class, there are few errors which is appear. So if you have anything not clear, then you can ask me lah this part. So still have another 36 minutes. So you can ask me relating to your SQL, DDL part 2 and also relating to your assignment. But then I open for your DML part 2 first for 5 minutes. But if none of you ask any question relating to the DML, then we are going to proceed with the assignment lah. So come on, before 4:30 relating to this part. Because myself also when I copy this time for your class, there were a few errors appeared because of my human mistake. Come on, anything that you want to ask? You got any question? Maybe confused? When I show to you, there are lots of errors, so need uh, more explanation. Ada soalan tak?
No, Dr. but just it's so confusing.
Which one confusing?
No, it's clear, but it's confusing because we have to add, draw, and then we have to see all the details.
So that's why here you can see that myself also I have to go screen here and there. So that's why you have to try lah. But then once you try, do you have any problems?
Tadi ada, lepas tu check balik, baru boleh.
Dah solve dah. Okay. Other than that, since your friend which has got no problem, what about others? Anyone got problem? No, eh? Okay. If not, then it's okay. Anyone want to ask about the want to show about your assignment? So you can show your assignment. I'm going to stop presenting now. Then you can take over my screen. Come on. You have to remember next week you already submit your assignment, because I'm not going to check your assignment, the draft of the assignment, if you submit to me using email. So please fully utilize your class. Not just only me who can help you, your friend also can help you. Because myself, maybe based on my two naked eyes, sometimes I didn't notice certain part from your the mistake from your assignment. So your friend can help you. Come on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Okay, but then can you speak louder because it is quite hard for me to listen to your voice. So take over my screen.
Wait. Yep. Doctor, can see Doctor.
Wait,
Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
so explain.
Uh,
Can you
Hello.
make it bigger
Uh,
because it is too small. Okay.
Okay. Our ERD is about clinical system.
I can't hear you.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
Dengar
Okay.
saya mic saya potong sikit.
So now which is better lah compared to previous one.
Okay. Our ERD is about clinical system. But the patient has any appointment. If the appointment has the dentist, the appointment also has the appointment procedure and test procedure.
Okay.
So nak tanya ada yang saya
So this one which is relating to your dentist. Okay. Before that, any comments from your friend based on the diagram? Any comments? Come on. We have 46 students in this class. So please respond lah. Any part maybe you think that, oh, why? His diagram which is different from my diagram. At the end of this semester, I'm going to upload all my, my record. Okay, for all of the class, then you can make a comparison. Okay, what happened to your class and then what happened to other class. Because looks like that just only me in this class and then few of your friends. Please lah. Okay, anything which is you think that should be improved in this diagram, come on. Yes, Abdul Haziq, anything that you want to respond to this one?
No, I was just testing my mic because I'm in the same group as Nabil.
So Nabil, Abdul Haziq, is it this diagram is correct? You refer to where this diagram?
We thought about making a dentist, so we refer this online on dentist appointment.
Okay, so they provide to you this diagram,
No, they provide like the steps, so we just like make the ERD from that.
So before you create the ERD, did you refer to any other example of the creating ERD?
We saw the hospital one, but the hospital one was kind of like big and just too general.
So is it same with your notation, that hospital one? Is it similar? Okay, I give you an idea. From your diagram right now, you already combine UML, object-oriented notation, and also chain notation. You can see that you put your entity, you put your attributes below the entity, isn't it? So you list down, for example, procedure. So below of the procedure entity name, you put procedure ID, cost, and description. Okay. And then next one, and for example, patient, and then below there you put patient. So that one actually under UML notation based on what we refer to what we use in our Oracle. But from there, you can see that you put word has in the diamond. That one which is not for the UML notation. You cannot
Oh wait,
combine. You cannot
doctor.
put the diamond. Huh?
Oh wait, that's not the latest version. I have the latest version.
Ayo.
Oh wait, oh wait.
Yeah. Hi.
Can you see this, doctor?
Not yet. Is presenting, but then okay. So similar lah with this one. So you can see that you put mat follow what points. Okay, in our Oracle notes, if you put in the diamond, that one means what?
The
Diamond symbol.
the process.
Is it process?
No, not
Come on, your group member. Do not just let Haziq explain. So you have 4 to 5 members in one group. Diamond symbol stand for what in our Oracle
relationship.
notes?
Relationship.
Is it? In our Oracle notes. Diamond symbol stand for what? Hmm? Open back your Oracle notes. Come on, none of your group members know what that symbol stand for what in our notes. This one normally I will test. Previously, it is my favorite question because most of the time my student like to put diamond symbol, but then actually it is not acceptable in our Oracle notes. That one stand for what? Come on. So sad. I take over your presentation for a while, Abdul Haziq.
Okay.
Is it relationship, doctor?
Yes, it is relationship, but they have one meaning. So you can see that here. You can see my screen, isn't it? Can you
Yes.
see my screen? Hi, semester which is not end yet, but then 46 of my students already forget about this one. So you can see that this one, since you are using Oracle, okay, this notation, if you use diamond symbol, that one represent the non-transferable relationship. Okay, so once you have that particular symbol, that one already become non-transferable. So that's why you have to be careful with this one. Because you can, as I already told you before, when you draw your ERD, if you want to create your ERD, actually we have more than 5 notation. So that's why you have to choose, and then you cannot just simply copy. Okay, so that's why if you refer to my diagram, that's why for me, normally I will ask my student, did you refer to any types of the example? So that's why myself, when I Google, you can see that if you want to use diamond symbol as a relationship, you can see that you have to make sure that your entity should be in the oval symbol. So it means that you cannot put at the bottom of your entity name. This one almost repeating again your ERD diagram. But if you refer to this one, okay, but this part actually missing the relationship name. So you can see that if you are using, you put your attributes name below your entity name, so that one you have to refer back to our previous notes, which is using Oracle, where you cannot put the diamond symbol. If you put diamond symbol in this particular notation, automatically those who read your diagram, they will see that one as your non-transferable relationship. So that one which is already wrong. You cannot combine your notation. You cannot combine your diagram. So you have to choose, either you want to choose this one, actually using the chain notation, okay, the previous one, or you are going to use the UML notation. So that's why here you can see that you have to put this one. And most of our notes before this in our Oracle notes. Okay, so you can see that, okay. If you refer to this one, your relationship name should be on the top or at the bottom of your relationship. So you have to change lah that one.
Okay.
Say, thank you very much. Anyway, who presenting just now?
Haziq.
Haziq Group. So thank you very much for presenting. At least you can know that you already done a mistake. But I assume that maybe I can make a conclusion lah, because none of your class member can respond to me. So maybe all of you didn't know that if you combine the notation, that one is wrong. So that's why if you combine that notation, if you try to get a tender, so for sure they just throw your tender into the rubbish dustbin lah. So that's why you have to be careful. So now Haziq or Nabil's group, that's why you have to choose which one that you want. It is either you want to base on my example before this. So if you think that you still want to base on okay, based on this part, you didn't want to change your, what I call that, you didn't want to put all those oval symbol, then you have to remove the diamond. Okay, you have to change to this diagram lah, together with the name of the relationship at the top or at the bottom. So you have to choose which one that you want. Okay, Haziq?
Okay.
Okay, so update that one. And then present again, Haziq.
Okay.
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 So can you make it bigger because it is too small? Enlarge a little bit. Okay. No. Okay. So what about the movement of the foreign key? Is it correct? Haziq, this one appointment procedure, is it an intersection entity, Haziq?
It was because procedure and appointment was many to many, so
it was what? This one what?
Appointment was supposed to be many to many. Appointment to procedure. So we make so that it won't be many to many. So we solve it.
So you solve it by using what? By creating what?
Appointment procedure.
This appointment procedure, what's the name of this entity?
Excuse me?
What's the name of this entity? What the names of the entity that you have to create in order to make sure that you want to solve the many to many relationship?
Wait.
Come on, open everybody. We have 46 students. Please respond. Aduh, so sad lah in this class. Luckily that we are not in our lab. If we are in our lab, I will ask you to open the video and I will ask everybody to jump. Please lah. Come on. What's the name of that new entity being created if we want to solve the many to many relationship? Come on. So sad lah. Okay lah, next week I'm going to record my presentation and then I just update. I just upload the presentation. I'm not going to have online class lah. Because if we have online class also, it looks like that. Just only me who talk, please lah. Sedih lah. Come on.
Pasal appointment detail.
Okay. Never mind. What?
appointment details.
I'm sorry?
Appointment details.
Yes, the name, yes, it is appointment. You name that one, the entity as an appointment.
Details.
But then what which is relating to the Oracle rules? What the name of that entity if you want to solve many to many relationship?
Doctor,
Yeah, baby.
is it intersection entity?
Thank you very much, baby. Baby, are you the one which is intersection entity? Okay, you need to read a lot lah, all of my students, because you have to remember all the terms. This subject will be used again until for those from the IT lah. You will use this part until your final year project. So that's why please remember. Okay? So you already create intersection entity. But once you create intersection entity, what happened to the many cardinality? Many cardinality will point to where? Many cardinality will point to where? When you create the intersection entity? Baby, do you have any answer?
To the intersection entity.
Thank you very much, baby. So now, Haziq group, can you get what which is being told by baby?
Yes, yes, yes.
So you have to improve lah. So that's why once you already change this particular, what we call that, your cardinality, then you have to check again your foreign key. But now what I can see that foreign key is correct for your appointment. Okay, so you already put appointment ID and also procedure ID. And then the next one for the patient, for the table dentist. Sorry, for the table appointment, you put patient ID as a foreign key and also dentist ID as a foreign key. So the movement of the foreign key correct, but then in terms of the drawing, you have to update again, Haziq?
Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. So what else that you want to show to me? And also your friend?
I think that this is it because if we correct this, then the below one wouldn't be a problem so much.
Okay. At least you already paham, you already understand, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
presentation, for sharing. Okay, next one. Who want to share? Come on.
Doctor,
Yes.
I want to present.
Okay. Take over the presentation.
Okay. Share. Can you see, Doctor?
Not yet. Please present.
Oh, share. Itu lagi lah.
Okay. Myself, I cannot view. What about others? Can you view the screen? Myself still list of my student. Okay. I cannot view the screen.
Same.
Same. Okay. Thank you, Intan.
Contact, not present.
Tuan Nur Afika, maybe you can ask your friend to present and then you can explain. If you have problem from your computer, it's okay. We work in a group, so help each other.
Wait, Doctor.
Okay. Really active. Okay. And then for this one, I receive a lot of requests for me to upload my Meet record. I'm so sorry, I'm not going to upload until I complete my SQL because I want to make sure that everybody will come to the class, and then after that I will upload. Then you still can refer our discussion, okay, relating to our Meet after this, after I complete all the, not just only for your class, because I have 3 sections. So after I complete all the 3 sections, then I will upload in your My Guru. Okay, but then so far, then you have to try and error lah, because for me, I love for you to make a mistake, because from that mistake, then we will know how to solve. Okay, because myself also for today's class, I already done lots of mistake rushing. This morning got meeting, after this also got meeting. But then it's okay, you can try first. Before you come to the next class next week, please make sure that you already done your your SQL part 1 and also part 2, because next week we are going to manipulate. That manipulation which is more tricky compared to the previous one. Previous one quite easy. So for that one, then you will know if you didn't create your database properly, if you didn't insert your data properly during the selection process, then you are going to face a lot of problems. Please share with me whatever mistake that you make. Okay? No need to shout.
Doktor,
Okay? Yes?
Doktor nak tanya, kalau saya dah group kami dah hantar.
Okay?
And then ada terlupa taruh nama kita orang punya database system tu. Kalau nak hantar balik boleh ke?
Saya kena reject. Reject ni saya kena tolak lah 2 markah ni. Lain kali make sure. Lain kali make sure memang kena betul-betul confirm. Saya dah cakap sebelum ni Please make sure betul confirm. Sebab saya bila saya reject, bukan saya boleh simply reject. Saya kena letak komen apa semua ni. Dia akan record. Saya tak nak ada record yang macam tu. Okay?
Alright.
So make sure lepas ni confirm dulu. Lepas tu baru submit. Everybody need to submit. Wait. Saya buka saya punya sistem dulu nak tengok siapa yang dah tersilap ni.
Okay.
Sambil-sambil saya buka tu ada apa-apa yang nak tanya lagi bolehlah tanya.